All right, well, welcome everybody. This is going to be a collective message. I'm not entirely sure who it's for, but I feel very much like it could be for multiple people. I've had several different versions of the same uh, kind of message coming through over the last couple of weeks, and a bunch of different synchronicities happening with it. So I feel like it's just something that Spirit wants me to say and put out there. And be patient with me because there's pieces of it that might feel a little bit triggering to some people. It's not necessarily intended that way, um, but it could feel. I'm getting the sense that it could feel a little bit like that because there's, I don't know, sometimes messages are like that, right? But this has to do with changing or tumultuous times ahead, right? And I don't think that's a big secret to anybody at this point. I think most of us can have tapped into and can feel things changing and know that there's going to be some discomfort happening. And there is a message coming through of needing to really tap into. It's coming through in a couple of different ways. There's a need to really tap into what Spirit's perspective or universal perspective of what unconditional love is during these times, because a lot of what's happening may start to feel triggering to people. And it's kind of just, it's a byproduct of having access to the internet that we are able now to see and listen to and be exposed to a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different viewpoints. It's actually, it can feel like a curse, but it's actually a really beautiful blessing. The internet is like humanity's testing ground for collective consciousness, right? We now have, in a way that we never have before in human history, access to the thoughts, the feelings, the opinions, the perspectives of a lot of different people, of all of us on there. And we're finding out that not everybody agrees with us, right? Not everybody agrees with you. Not everybody agrees with me. Not everybody agrees with each other. And the human experience is hugely diverse. And so we're getting a little taste, a little bit of a practice run, a little bit of a practice scenario at whether or not we can actually embrace unconditional love in the truest sense of it, and whether or not we can actually handle exposure to collective consciousness, exposure to the thoughts and feelings, the knowing of all consciousnesses. And there's a message that I've had coming through pretty strongly, like I said, over the last few weeks, that for some of us, there is a sense of, within the spiritual community, for some people, of feeling a little bit left out in the cold, of feeling a little bit disconnected or turned off by certain things. And there's a lot of conversation about what the upcoming changes might be, or what people feel like they might be. There's a lot of talk about paradigm shifts, about shifts in consciousness, about new earth. There's a lot of conversation about all of that going on right now. And there's also a lot of new socializations, new sort of moralities being formed around that sort of a concept, right? And it's understandable to some degree. It's by and large always been like the burden or the responsibility of the spiritual community, whatever that community is, whether it was a religion or a, you know, whatever practitioner throughout history, whoever the spiritual community was in a particular culture has kind of fallen to them to set the social standard, the morality standard for the society. And so there's this long-standing sort of thing that we tend to do where we conflate morality and spirituality like it's the same thing. And so there's a lot of talk about what things are, there's a lot of virtue signaling happening within the spiritual community about what things are spiritual, what things are we leaving behind in the new paradigm, what things are not allowed to come to new earth. Like there's a lot of talk like that going on. And like I said, it's not out of any ill intent, right? Every generation who's come in has looked at things and said the old way doesn't work for us, and we want to set up a new way of thinking about things, of doing things that we think will work better. A new socialization. But there's that morality structure, that social constraint, that's not a new paradigm. That's the old paradigm with window dressing that we prefer, that we feel more comfortable with. And having our current access that like we do to the internet, to more of an access to real collective consciousness is really showing us that, not everybody agrees, right? Um, and not everybody is going to agree. There's a message coming through about, again, I'm getting it through as unconditional love, but I think that this 3D reality, this realm, is chaotic and diverse, and full of conflict and adversity. It's messy, but it's like that. It's intentionally like that because it's a place, a space that provides all of the life paths and life lessons and things that souls coming in are really wanting to experience, to cultivate their journey for themselves. So the diversity or the conflict or these things are really what helps all souls have the freedom to develop along the lines that they're needing to for their journey. And so it's why unconditional love from the spirit realm. It's why broader perspective is non-judgmental about whatever it is you're doing or whatever your life path is or whatever it is that you have a calling to in your heart. And I've gotten some strong messages over the last few. I just did a bunch of past life karma readings that had, a lot of them had a very similar theming or message coming through, that a lot of the souls that are here right now that chose to come into the world at this particular time are here for a reason. Well, obviously everyone's here for a reason, but there's a collective reason why a lot of the souls came in at this particular time. And a lot of people out there in the collective right now have sort of already lived that life cycle of piety, of service, of humility, of restraint. There was a lot of energy coming through about this already being a previous life cycle people have been through. And the crossing energy, the karmic energy, the energy needing to be expressed in this lifetime is much more of a unleashed energy. We got a lot of the shapeshifter coming through, a lot of she-wolf coming through, a need to disconnect from whatever the socialization or whatever the standard or the norm is in order to follow a path that is truly calling to the soul, or truly calling to the source energy within. So it feels like there are a lot of us out there right now who are having it's a little struggle-tastic to try and make our natural instincts, our natural inclinations, the things that we really feel like we want to pursue, fit in with the new socialization or the new norm of what's apparently being expected out of the paradigm shift or whatever, new earth, whatever. And I don't know what that is. It might mean something different for everybody, because there's a lot of different things coming through. There's a lot of it is health related. Like there seems to be a big focus on, oh, if you're spiritual, you don't drink coffee or drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes, or, you know what I mean? Or maybe you just, like, there's a lot of, like, again, virtue signaling or like purity shaming happening. Or maybe there's a lot of talk about purpose, about having a higher purpose. It's like if you're wanting something that would be considered flashy or vapid or shallow, that's not a spiritual path, there's just a lot of things like that going around right now, and I'm getting kind of it's a cross energy with that collective thought process, because it really just represents it's the setting up of the generational curses of tomorrow, right? When the message that I'm really getting is that all people have their own paths and there's never going to be one right way for everyone to be. And there are those out there right now who have something calling at them or tugging at them in their heart space, something that is inner self is calling towards, that there's some struggle happening because it may not fit in with what we're being taught is the right way to move forward with society. There is, I'll just show you, there is an energy here of you've got the Chariot and the Three of Pentacles in the world, like the way in which the collective is moving feels not good, right? Not that it isn't the right path for some people, but just that this message feels like somebody struggling with who they really want to be versus who they're being taught they should be. And Spirit has really been coming through strong in my channeling with a message of the need for us to embody the unconditional love that we talk about. Understanding that all humans, all animals, all everything is source energy, and it's all cultivating its individual experience. We're all creating our own reality for our own individual purposes, and then the collective is a collective energy of those individuals. But it's always a collective energy of individuals. There isn't one right way for everybody to be. Somebody has, and again, this may be multiple somebodies, something in their heart that really is the opportunity. It's the right way forward, and it's important in some ways. You've got the Page of Pentacles, but you can see them contemplating this pentacle like, really? Is that it? It's somebody's got something that's sitting in their heart like an opportunity. It's the right step on their path. And there's a need to let go of whatever the standardized version of right is in order to be able to follow it. To embrace self as being correct. Yeah. You've got the Seven of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. So there's a real need to stand your ground about something. Even if it doesn't, or to be yourself out loud and not worry about whatever the social norm is, in order to really flourish and to accomplish something. Because all life paths are beautiful, right? All journeys are beautiful, and all journeys are inherently spiritual. Like, there's no such thing as levels. Like, you're not on a lower level or a lower path, and there aren't higher levels and higher paths. To some degree, the hierarchical structure, the way we think about things in a hierarchy, is sort of it's a deceptive and insidious thing. This thought process that there is something or someone higher than us, so that also there must be a hierarchy. There must be stuff that's lower than us, or people that are lower than us. And the need for validity to try to figure out where you fit into the hierarchical structure of high and low. Or am I on a high vibration or a low vibration? Am I on a higher spiritual path, or am I down in the old low path, the old paradigm? Like this, the whole hierarchical thought process of things is really confining, and it's an illusion, because it's all really a horizontal structure, right? Like all souls are source energy. All souls are the same pieces of the same consciousness having many different experiences. And so there isn't a higher, there isn't like a hierarchy. Even spirit, like spirit will be the first one to tell you that you're not less than anything. You're not even less than them. You are them. You are spirit in human form. We're operating from this perspective and they're operating from that perspective. But it's not less than. There's really not a hierarchy of things. So trying to yeah. See, somebody is having, this is the well. It's a unique card to this deck, but it really is being connected, being the wellspring of source energy. And this is the Nine of Swords. So it's like somebody is having anxiety over the things that is actually coming from source energy. Some inspiration or something that's coming through that feels like it's not aligned with whatever the new paradigm is supposed to be. But that doesn't mean that it's not for you, that it's not coming from source, from your inner self. Yeah, with the Justice card. There's nothing wrong. And again, I get the feeling that this may be for a lot of people right now because like there's a lot going on about trying to set up new paradigms that everybody's supposedly supposed to be getting on board with. And I just feel like whatever it is that's actually happiness for you, whatever it is that actually sparks joy that you feel called to, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be maybe you like going out and drinking and partying with your friends, you know, maybe you like your vape or your cigarettes, maybe you have shallow aspirations, like you just want to wear your red bottom heels in Central Park and not care. Maybe you want to be rich and famous or whatever it is. There's something, a calling that feels like it's not in alignment, but there's actually a purpose and a path for it. And it's giving you anxiety, worry, like you want to want. It feels like wanting to want something that fits the mold of being more spiritual or more moral or more aligned, whatever it is. But spirit trying to come through and let you know that it's not, there is no, as long as you're aligned with yourself and your own path, there is no unalignment, right? There's a lot of, nobody, I'll say this well. When it comes to knowing yourself and your own path, there's nobody who knows that like you do. There's nobody who can tell you what is a fit for you, what's right for you to be doing. There's no Sifu guru sama who's can tell you how to live your life like you can tell you how to live your life. And there's no free will exists in old law. Even spirit can't control what it is ultimately you choose to do. But this message is really, somebody needs, like, yeah. Yeah. It's like somebody's truth. It's like somebody's truth feels like is causing conflict and disappointment. Can you see them? And that might be internal conflict with yourself. It might be conflict with people around you. If you are part of a spiritual community already, and it's like, it's actually, this path is an opportunity. There's a reason why it matters. And to some degree, like I said, it's all, we're in a big time right now of releasing the constructs, right? All of the constructs. And I personally, and this is just my hot take, I don't think that we're releasing the constructs just to build new ones, right? Because I don't think that there's I don't think there's any scenario under which all people are just believing the same thing and behaving in exactly the same way, and because it would just eliminate the purpose of why we come here, which doesn't make sense. All right, this is getting long. Nobody can really judge you but you. And not fully embracing yourself is not denying yourself the path is going to feel like the harshest judgment of all. Go within, right? There's something in there, that spark, that star that actually needs to just come out and be the thing that you follow. The hermit follows his own star, right? All right, that's where I'm gonna sorry, that's where I'm gonna leave it. Thank you. I hope that message was helpful for somebody, and I hope that it feel validating and safe to just be on your path and follow your own star.